Oh,
Double clap.
2 claps. How
I was excited.
beautiful.
Oh!
Because, you know, we have a new week and a new thing to focus on.
Very nice.
Tiferet.
Good job.
Which is beauty, and like it is in between love and strength. So this is also like compassion. If you look at the tree, it is compassion, it is harmony. Tiferet blends and harmonizes the free outpouring of Chesed with the discipline of Gevurah. It introduces a third dimension, the dimension of truth, which is neither love or discipline and can therefore integrate the two. That's interesting. The truth is beautiful. The truth sets you free. Like all of those kinds of things. Maybe compassion is the truth. I don't know. Like people use the word truth sometimes, like too much, I think sometimes. But like
my truth, your truth.
Yeah, truth is accessed through selflessness, rising above your ego and your predispositions, enabling you to realize truth. So that's what we're going to be focusing on this week. And as we do before, we start again with Chesed. So Chesed of Tiferet.
The love of compassion.
Yeah. Or like kindness of compassion. Because like Chesed is like loving kindness, of harmony, of beauty. It's interesting when you try to get into all these different English ways to translate this. I don't know if it works better in Hebrew, but like, yeah. So examine the love aspect of compassion, which, what's your your definition of the difference between love and compassion?
So compassion is caring for somebody. It's having your heart open to them. Love is more self-sacrificial. I love people. It's weird, but loving somebody, I don't know, because I feel like love requires compassion.
I think compassion it's easier to define it when you talk about strangers.
Okay.
Or I think about compassion is the expression of love. Like,
I like that.
That love is like a noun.
Vehicle.
Love is a force or a noun. In this one sci-fi book I read, they defined it as a force.
Okay.
And compassion is
the embodied force
vehicle,
of love.
Yeah, like
I like
acts
that.
and stuff. But it's like you can feel compassion for things that you see like on the street, whatever, like or other people listening to the news and stuff like that. But people can be like, I feel such love for them, like that they were another human. So then it gets kind of confusing too.
Right.
But I don't know. Yeah, the way I see it,
separating out the concepts. Yeah, I think
because compassion is also a noun. I don't know. Like the way I see it, yeah, like love is the force and compassion is the
I wonder
answer.
If I were to try to say like compassionate love versus loving compassion, I wonder if that would help me figure out how to separate the two. But I haven't figured it out yet. Love.
That to me sounds like hard love. I mean, like when you have to do something like that's difficult. Mm-hmm. Versus loving compassion. But yeah, I don't know. That's kind of hard. I don't know.
That's hard. I don't know if I made it worse.
Well, so anyway, yeah. Ask yourself: is my compassion tender and loving, or does it come across as pity?
Ooh, I like that.
Sometimes, yeah. Like I don't know. It's like again, I talked about this before. I try to make myself feel things. Like when I just see random strangers. Like to smile at a kid or something, but so it's like when I pass homeless people, like I try to make myself feel things to be like, oh, that's sad. Oh, I'm in a warm car and they're not. When it's cold, it's winter. And sometimes I just don't feel anything, and so I'm like, is this pity? It's probably just pity, and like I can't like force myself to feel anything.
Yeah. Well, I think that there's I can come at this from like the chronic illness and like disability community also. This notion of I hesitate to share like my struggles because I don't want pity. Mm-hmm. That's not what I care about. But one of my friends, I'll just name drop her, Nicole, we were having dinner one day and she said to me, like, I'm really sorry you're not feeling well. And I went, I'm okay, like I'm fine. And she's like, no, like I'm really sorry that you are not feeling well. And that's not like from a place of pity. I know you're fine. Like I know you're going to get through it. But I want you to know that I'm sitting with you in this place of, like, what it feels like to be unwell. And I want you to know that I have empathy for that. And I went, well, that's going to make me cry.
Yeah.
But she was really clear. I have a couple of friends that are really clear that when they tell me like they're sorry and they're upset that I'm experiencing something, it's not from a place of pity. It's not from like, oh, poor you, that sucks. It's from a place of, I'm going to sit with you and figure out how to help you get through this. And that's compassion. That's not pity. And I love that.
I think that a lot of empathy is necessary for it to not be pity.
Yeah.
Because you really need to be able to understand the person's situation instead of being like, oh, poor thing. Okay, I'm gonna go like get my hair done now, or I don't know, like completely forget about it. Where instead of just sitting like
pity
in the
allows
moment,
you to be separate from the situation.
Yeah.
And compassion and empathy requires you to be part of the situation.
Yeah. Like whenever I was doing, because I used to do closed captioning for a job, like doing these stories across the world, sometimes of like the women in Iran like wanting justice and whatever and like better democracy kind of things. I felt so like with them.
Yeah.
And it's like I felt compassion for them and I was with their cause, but that's not really, I mean, that's kind of different. I don't know how you could pity that, like unless you're like, oh, those poor women, they can't vote.
Well, but that's
like,
exactly how people look at it. People will look at it and when they separate themselves from it, and they'll just like pity like, oh, it's a quote unquote third world country.
Yeah.
That sucks for them. Rather than to sit with them in the women life freedom movement and say, women life freedom, because I understand what that means.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's an interesting question. Even if my intention is otherwise, do others perceive my sympathy as condescending or patronizing?
I know some people for whom that comes across, but
like you can't. I don't like this question because you can't control other people, and like even though I've had to like learn a lot to not try to anticipate others. It's like I don't care that you. I mean, I don't know. Like I'm sorry that you saw it as me being patronizing or something like that, and I'll I guess if you tell me about it, I'll apologize and ask what's a better way maybe in the future, but like. I shouldn't have to be thinking about you and your reactions all the time.
I think that that's a really powerful place for you to stand in specifically because you've had so much of that having to like undo that like walking on eggshells sort of like understanding. And so I want to honor that that's the place that you stand in and like that's really valuable and important for you. I think that because I don't have that same background, I have a duty to care a little bit. Because I don't have the tendency to do that. Like I don't have that people-pleasing tendency in the same way. Mm-hmm. And so it is important for me to assess how my compassion comes across. But it's not important for you because you're already on that side.
Yeah.
Like you're already
like the spiritual curriculum thing again.
Exactly.
Yeah, because everything again is moderation and you have to find your way to the middle.
Yeah.
But so it's like, yeah, if you're caring.
But I think that's an important and powerful place for you to stand in. Like that's not at all.
And I mean, it's important too to sometimes you do have to go the complete opposite. Like you become the jerk or something like that.
Just so you can find your center. You have to.
Like those kids that experiment with alcohol in college. I really hate that culture. But like, it's like they go way beyond thinking that they have to do this because they're a college student, and then finally they find their middle at some point and be like, I only need 2 drinks a night or less. I don't know. It's like, don't need 5.
That's important. I don't need 5. But it's important. It's like, it's knowing where, it is that spiritual curriculum. It's knowing where our like balance is and where we tend to lean and what we need to do to shift that lean. So I think you're right for you to dislike that question because that's not where your spiritual curriculum is taken.
Yeah, even if others perceive it, like But if someone was to come to me and be like, you really offended me with this, like, first of all, I would feel in danger. My first reaction, I always, if I'm being punished or someone being mad at me, my first is to want to like freeze and feel in danger. But then like I have to calm myself down and be like, okay, like they're allowed to talk to me like this. I'm strong. I can take it. And then like just listen to what they're actually saying.
Hey, Jordan. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, yes, exactly that. That notion of like, first of all, like, I think this is like a great exercise for that, right? Because like, I could sit here and I can go, I love that you're able to do that. I love that you're able to sit there and go like, hey, this is not like I'm safe, I'm okay, and recognize that that's like your trigger, and then be able to move through that.
Improv helped with that too, because like I've learned, because in improv you have to always listen and don't anticipate what that's gonna, because it's like, let's go to the store. Okay, I've been needing to go to the gravedigger store, and like you didn't know they were gonna say gravedigger, and it's like, okay, we're gravediggers now, and so it's like in normal conversation, like even though they're about to yell at me or something, let's just listen to what they're actually saying and try not to. Maybe they're gonna yell about, I hate that your hair is brown, and you thought they were gonna talk about your eyes. I don't know.
Yeah.
And be like, oh, okay, well, I have a legitimate excuse. My hair is naturally brown, so you have no reason to be mad at me. Like, I don't know, like something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Does my compassion overflow with love and warmth, or is it expressed with enthusiasm, or is it static and lifeless?
Static and lifeless. No, yeah, I warm. I'm a warm, giving, loving person, and I really hope that people can.
Yeah,
feel
I
that.
try to do that. I think people perceive it that way, but so yeah,
I definitely do.
like I just
Like you're a warm person.
like, yeah, I think it's taken as warm. I don't know. I think knowing how to act helps, because like then I can make my like reactions bigger than they actually are or naturally are, something like that. What about the exercise? When helping,
I think it sucks that you have to do that. Sorry,
I don't know.
I think it sucks that you have to work so hard to like make it bigger so that people can experience it. Like, I wish you didn't have to, but I understand that like that's your sort of natural caliber, and I understand that that's how you've been like perceived in the past.
Yeah, because I don't know how else to describe it. It's like if I want people to. Sometimes it's like I want people to know that I'm excited, but also it's on the inside or something, and so
Right.
I have to like show it with exclamation marks in text or something like that. When
There's a
like,
term for that in like the neurodivergent community, which is called masking. It's this idea that like I have to put on a little bit of a show in order to be perceived the way that like I know how it's going to be
that's
perceived.
interesting.
Yeah. So
See, like I've done research. I'm like, I don't think that I'm like autistic because I've done all these things and whatever, and it never seemed to show up that way. But like maybe that's just from like gifted students. I don't know. Like there's got to be something, but like
we're
there's
all
just a
somewhere on the
yeah.
spectrum. It doesn't really matter.
But like, yeah, I don't know. I'll that's a good thing to research though. More of the idea that
I found the term to be very useful, at least for me, because like I know that I'm ADHD and I have high anxiety, and so I know that like my masking looks different. I also mask from like the disability perspective. Like
yeah,
I hurt all of the
sense.
time,
Yeah.
but I don't show people that I hurt all of the time. You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, like I have seen that on people talking about depression where they're like, people will tell me, oh, but you seem so happy, and then they'll be like, okay, well that makes me feel like it's not legitimate and maybe I am faking it or something like that, and so yeah, like that I don't know, that's another topic, I guess. Continuing the topic of masking, but so
Wow,
yeah.
Omer, you really got us in today.
Compassion, be compassionate to people, and don't like. I remember even one time a friend of mine was telling me about her friend's dad killing himself, and I was like, my first reaction was I thought he was in prison, and with the idea that he was being watched and somebody would have noticed and stuff, and her like she like went back like this and was like, I didn't think he would say that, and I was expecting some kind of pity or something. I don't know what she gave. She said something like that, and where I didn't give her the reaction she wanted, and I was like, "Oh, well, what I meant was I thought someone would have stopped him from killing himself or whatever." Like I don't know, that someone would have been
possible.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought that was possible, but she thought I was going to say something like, "Oh, I'm sorry," or whatever, and
or it shouldn't matter to you because he was so far away from you.
Yeah,
like, that's awful. Yeah,
I don't know, but so like, don't let. Like, you know, people that laugh at funerals, don't criticize them, don't judge them. That's what we're talking about.
Laughing at funerals, it happens.
Like, maybe you need it. I don't know. So when helping someone, extend yourself in the fullest way. Offer a smile or a loving gesture. Whatever's full for you. Like, I don't know if we have to, as a society, dismantle masking, or if that's something that has to stay, but like, yeah.
I mean, yeah, just exercise that compassion and recognize that, like, I don't know, I like to think of it in the sense that, like, people don't need to tell me what's wrong with them for me, like, what's wrong with them, or like what's going on in their brain for me to have compassion for them. Like, I don't need to know all your labels. I don't need to know all of those things. I'm gonna just try and approach you from the place of, like, compassion and love.
Yeah.
So
yeah, try to be understood, I guess.
yeah,
That's all.
try to be understanding and be understood.
Yeah. So thank you. Welcome to our new week, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.